So check it. Many bass players stay average for years, not because they lack talent, but because they focus on the wrong things. You're watching the right video. Today, I'm going to show you 3 tips that you can apply that's going to take you from sounding average to great. So go ahead and watch this. All right, so I don't want to waste any time. We'll jump right into this. If we took a very simple groove like in the key of G major, and it's a 1, 3, 4, 5 groove, let's put that to a metronome. 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5. Pretty basic groove, right? So this is a super simple groove that most of us or all of us have heard somebody play at some point, and whether it be in a church service, whether it's on a record. But the question is, how do I take this basic groove and make it number one groove and go from sounding basic to sounding like really, really good? Well, the first tip I want to give you is use octaves and fifths. So you might be saying, what am I talking about? Right? So we're using 1 octave fifth, you know? And so if I take that simple approach and use it all over that progression, so I'm going 1 octave fifth, 1 octave fifth, 1 octave fifth, 1 octave fifth. So I can take just those 3 notes and now add a little bit more to that. So let's put it in context. So just with adding that little bit, we add just a little bit more to the groove. Notice note length and all of that kind of stuff when I'm going from. The first note is a little longer. The second 2 notes are a little shorter. And I'm thinking about the rhythm that I have going on. So a lot of what I'm playing is going to be based on what the other rhythm around me, like the drummer, what they're doing. And we'll get into more of that a little later in this video. But for the most part, we can use octaves and fifths. And here's the thing. There's no certain set of ways you have to use them. Just make sure you put them in there. So I could have went. So that way I'm using 1 5th octave, 3 5th octave, 4 5th octave, 5 5th octave. The same thing all over the fretboard. Now that's just one little tip that you can use to start adding a little bit more to the bass line. Now when it comes to using those octaves and fifths, your rhythm of how you're playing it in your right hand, adding a little bit more bounce to it is going to make a huge difference. Here's what I mean. So all I'm doing there is subdividing. What is subdividing? 1 E and a 2 E, filling in the spaces. So I know for every beat, there's a beat in between that beat. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. If I take that, understanding that it's swinging, like I'm thinking about my hi-hats, I'm thinking about my shakers and all these other things that are going on in the drum beat. And some of the subdivisions that I'm hearing are being pulled from the drums again. So again. And I'll do that really slow so you can hear it. And after I get that under my fingers, I can start mixing it together and going. So I'm going 1 straight down, 1 octave fifth, straight down, octave fifth. So I'm just mixing the 2 patterns. And we got that, and it's adding so much more to our groove, and we're just doing one little simple add-on. We're just adding octaves and fifths to each note. Really quick, if you're enjoying this content and you want more in-depth knowledge on how to dig deeper into these types of topics, I've written a book, and this is the pre-release that we're celebrating, depending on when you're watching this video. Today is May the 9th, and if you're watching this video today, we haven't officially released this book, but you can go now and grab your hard copy, signed hard copy, from my website, JermaineMorgan.net. I will put that link below and in the description. So if you're enjoying the content, do me a huge favor. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Give this video a thumbs up. And also those hype points, I think that's what it's called. That helps this video to be found by more people just like you. And also, just in case you're wanting it, we're also releasing the audio version of this book. You will be able to get the audio version of this book as well. As of today, it hasn't yet went live because we haven't did the official release, but that will be available. So keep a watch out for that. If you're watching this video later, it's probably already there. So go and grab your copy right now of From Last Pick to First Pick, How to Become a First Pick Bass Player by yours truly. Peace. So for tip number 2, I feel like this is something that a lot of younger bass players or a lot of not as seasoned bass players overlook. Start mapping out your moves. I hear people, once they start learning riffs and runs and this kind of thing, you hear them just throw them anywhere. Map out what you're going to do. Kind of have an idea of how the song is flowing, and based on how that song is flowing, map out your ideas. For instance, I'll give you an example of a map that I like to use, but I kind of tweak it from time to time. But usually, here's what I'm thinking. In the format of a song, you know, you have intro, verse, chorus, verse, chorus again, most songs, I'm just a standard song, bridge, and vamp, right? So those are our sections of the song. Well, usually in the intro, I'm going to play it as is, unless it's a really high energy song. In the verse 1, I'm going to lay back. Most of the time, I'm not going to play too many riffs and that kind of thing. I'm going to leave it open. In the chorus, I might start to sneak something in the chorus as far as a feel and that kind of thing. When it gets to the second verse, now I got a little bit more room to start playing around in there with adding my feels or my little ad-libs and things that I want to do to kind of variate from the original song, right? And so by the time I get into my second chorus, I can add a little bit more. When we get to the bridge, typically I'm laying back depending on the feel of the bridge. But by the time we get to the vamp, if we're playing this live, I got a lot more room in the vamp if I played my cards right in terms of adding my little riffs and feels. So it's ideally, what I like to do is like a gradual build. I don't add all of my licks at the beginning of the song, typically speaking. Or if you're not playing a lot of riffs and licks, if you're not that type of player, even my little moves that I'm doing, I don't variate too much from the original song in the top of the song, because I always, as a bass player, I always want to establish foundation first. Foundation is over everything. Now, if you just have a great feel, you're seasoned, you've been playing for a while, of course you can put stuff where you want it and people typically love it. But if you're new and you're trying to figure out how to work it in, that's typically the type of map that I'd like to do. So when we're mapping out a song, so if we're playing this same groove, so if that's the meat of the song, I'll format this out. The first time is going to be my intro. Second time is going to be my verse. Third time is going to be my chorus. Fourth time is going to be verse 2, and so on and so forth. I'll just call it out as I play, and you'll see how I'm kind of mapping the song out. Intro. Verse. Chorus. Verse. Chorus. So you're starting to get the idea. I'm moving and kind of adding variations and that kind of thing as we gradually get into the song. Now, I'm not saying this is rule of thumb, you have to do this, but what I'm trying to do is demonstrate an idea of a map for you guys, so you know, well, I'm not just stuck in one spot. I have a student of mine who's been learning how to navigate and add his own flavor, so to speak, to songs. And here's one of the things that I didn't mention just yet, but I do want to make mention of. Detail is everything. When you're listening and transcribing, or for lack of better words, when you're listening and learning songs just like the person played it on the record, there's 3 levels of learning that I typically like to do. The first level of learning that I typically like to do is just learn the meat and potatoes of the song. What is the progression? What's the tempo? What's the key? All that kind of stuff. Learn the meat and potatoes of how it goes. So just say, for instance, if this was a song that I just played, 3, 4, 5, like back to the 1, 3, 4, 5. To me, that's level 1 of learning the song. So level 2 of learning that same song is I want to learn how they're really moving around it, the details, and like, okay, if the bass player was doing this, I just really want to grab the full rhythm of what that bass player is doing, how he's doing it, how he's navigating around the song, that type of thing. Now, level 3 learning for me is when we start finding out all of the fine details that bass player is doing. That means not avoiding the licks and stuff that he's doing. It's like, okay, he did that, but I don't want to do that. No, go ahead and learn that, because here's the thing that I was explaining to one of my students. When you go ahead and learn the actual riff that bass player does, you're getting context and everything, learning where he put the riff. What did he play over that riff? And a lot of times you're getting the why he played that thing, and it's going to help you to make better decisions on what you can and what you should play as well in that same spot. So if you learn what he did, you know what's there on the original recording, but you also know, okay, I can play this, or I can stay away from that, or this might be a good place to implement some of my own riffs and that kind of thing. So being able to learn and do that detailed learning, when you learn, it helps you to put stuff into place, and now you're not reinventing the wheel. You're learning something that's going to help to move your playing forward. And now for tip number 3, and this will be the last one: use lead ins. What are lead ins? For me, that's like letting everybody know where you're going in the song in terms of the band members. Leading into certain chords. If I know that I'm going to the 3, or if I know I'm going to the 4, whatever chord I'm going to next, leading into that note. So if we're playing that same groove, so like right there, using stuff like that instead of playing, that's just one variation of stuff that we can do to add to the groove. But if I'm keeping it simple, so instead of going straight to the 3, I can go 5, 4, 3, back to the 4. So in time, even going 1, 4, 6, 2, 5. So if we add all 3 of those, 1, 5, 4, 3, 1, 4, 6, 2, 5. Now what that sounds like up to speed. Now, if we start doing that and adding our octaves and fifths, finding places to put them in there, now we're really starting to build something now. So So now you have a lot more to work with. Now, here's the idea, because when I put out stuff like this, sometimes people will use these things without proper context. What I'm doing with showing you all these octaves and fifths and all this kind of stuff, I'm not trying to give you license to do this all over the place, but I am trying to show you have options and you're not just stuck and confined to that 1 or 2 notes that you have to play. But here's the thing about being a great bass player. Finding your spots. Again, how do I learn how to find my spots? listening, transcribing records, pulling apart these records and finding out note for note what these other bass players did. Well, Jermaine, isn't that copying? In a sense, it is, but what it also helps you to do is like a baby who's learning how to speak. You listen to other people speak and listen to them put together sentences and conversations. Think about it. A young kid doesn't go to school until they're like, what, 5, 6 years old. But by that time, they've already been putting together sentences and all these types of things. Well, how are they doing that? They're listening to other professionals talk. I heard this from Victor Wooten, and this is still something I take to this day because it's completely true. If you do the same thing in music instead of kind of learning the songs, learn exactly what they're playing, learn all the details of these songs and try to play it. What you'll find out is you'll have a lot more added to your arsenal. So now when you try to learn a different song, you can implement some of these same strategies and concepts that you've been learning in this song over here. And you'll find out this stuff work for song after song after song. And over time, you'll begin to build your own voice and you'll go from being an average player to a great bass player. If this has been helpful for you, be sure to leave it in the comments. I'm Jermaine Morgan, and I thank you guys for watching me today. I'm out. Peace.